ready in about 2 minutes. Hey, Lord, stop harassing now. Stop harassing now, Mom.
Come on over here, y'all. Good morning. Come on. Got everybody here? Yeah. Let's get someone else over here.
Okay.
Ron, why don't you come on over here?
Okay, Isabel, you bring it in.
You good?
Yeah, good.
All right. There, we 3 and 3. Okay. Good morning. Today I'm joined by Baltimore City Sheriff Sam Cogan, Baltimore City Inspector General Isabel Cummings, William Banks from the Maryland Home Improvement Commission, and members of my Economic Crimes Unit, including Chief Sherry Green, to announce the conviction and sentencing today and several indictments that our prosecutors have secured in this division. Remember, when we took office almost 18 months ago, this division really didn't exist. Our Economic Crimes Division is a division that is focused on holding individuals who commit economic crime responsible, holding them accountable. And that's why this partnership with the Inspector General is so important. Some of the investigations they do may turn over to us, and we will go ahead and look at them. And also, it's a very important relationship and partnership with the sheriff, because we needed someone who would serve the summonses and subpoenas to sit down and do the work with us on a partnership. And we thank both greatly. This announcement kicks off a resource fair and luncheon that the Economic Crimes and Older Disabled Persons Unit is hosting. So our Economic Crimes Division also is the same division that also houses the Disabled Persons Unit. We're hosting this today to educate older adults about avoiding financial scams and other crimes targeted at their demographic. Remember, when I ran, one of my campaign promises that we would focus on the crimes that have plagued the older adults in our city. At least one of the cases I will be discussing this morning was brought to our attention last year through a tip when we had our Older Adult Luncheon, demonstrating the importance of this event and tackling crimes that impact our older adult community. It's critically important to me that our office supports these individuals and educates them on how they can protect themselves from financial fraud and abuse of all forms. And economic crimes do not tend to make the headlines in our city, but they happen daily. They create financial ruin and cause significant harm to our housing market and local economy. These crimes are especially heinous because they prey upon one of the most vulnerable populations in our city. Under my administration, we will continue to prioritize victims and showing accountability for offenses perpetrated against them. The first case I want to talk about today is a case that Chief Green, right here, Sherry Green, tried herself. It was conviction where it's the state versus James Ricky Dupree. This gentleman was convicted in 15 minutes by a Baltimore City jury of several counts. Number one was felony theft valued at over $100,000, forgery, and uttering counterfeit documents. The defendant was convicted by a jury of his peers in Baltimore City. And the defendant used his security clearance to enter the Port Authority grounds and to steal 2 brand new Range Rovers totaled over $200,000. Remember, people are stealing cars left and right in our city, so we must hold them accountable. He used falsified documents to deceive authorities at the port. And one of the reasons, unfortunately, we're late today was because Chief Green went to court and secured a 3-year prison sentence for James Ricky Dupree. So clearly showing that we are taking economic crimes very serious. Our second case, we have defendants Maurice Ford, Angeletta Monk, Sean Wilson, Caprice Diggs, and Danielle Selden. They have been indicted on charges of theft scheme between $25,000 and $100,000, in addition to related offenses to steal almost $55,000 from the Horseshoe Casino. Once again, indictments do not say anybody's guilty. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. But we had alleged that in 2023, Maurice Ford was a slot machine technician employed by the casino, where he conspired with 4 other defendants who were patrons to steal the money via slot machines on 10 different occasions, it's alleged. While on duty, it's alleged that Ford manipulated a slot machine to arrange for his co-conspirators to hit a progressive jackpot. In the third case, once again, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. The defendant, Brian O'Neill Jones, is charged with 31 counts of theft and financial exploitation of vulnerable adults, operating without a license, of allegedly soliciting home improvement contracts on social media through a business page, beginning demolition and taking multiple customers' payments without completing the work. It's alleged that Jones lost his contractor license in 2021, but continued to solicit business, demanded large cash deposits, and signed contracts which stated his business was licensed and bonded, which we allege is not true. The victims relied upon Jones's false representation and paid large amounts of cash deposits for work that was not performed, or it was poorly begun and not completed. This case has approximately 15 victims in Baltimore City and damages approximately $300,000, more than $300,000. It's alleged that 3 of these victims were older adults who were defrauded. One older adult, her daughter, were left with a loan debt in excess of $90,000. And a second older adult homeowner turned over $10,000 in cash that it's alleged the defendant never returned, and a third older adult turned over $1,000 that the defendant never returned to perform the work. Once again, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. In our final case, we have the defendant, Karen McAllister. She's charged with engaging in felony theft scheme between $25,000 and $100,000, felony exploitation of a vulnerable adult for obtaining through undue influence $25,000 to $100,000. It's alleged that the defendant's grandmother is a victim of this case. The victim's daughter attended last year's inaugural Older Adult Luncheon, where she reported her concerns to us in our office. Chief Green was able to take that information and do a thorough investigation. Based on that, the remainder of the indictment, this is once again a reminder that our indictments are just that. They're not a finding of guilt at this moment in time, and that everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. I thank you very much, and now I'll turn this over to one of our partners, Sheriff Sam Kogan.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. It's an honor to be here today with the State's Attorney and the Inspector General and the Economic Crimes team at the Older Adults Luncheon. The Sheriff's Office, and I've said this, is going to step in and is going to help in the crime fight in the city to hold people accountable when they harm other people. And it's a true pleasure to work with the State's Attorney, Ivan Bates, and his team, and to work with the Inspector General, because just like me, these are people who believe deeply in the city and believe deeply in making the city a safer place and a place where people feel that they can go outside and they can go from point A to point B, and they can have work done on their homes, and they can be an older adult and live in peace and safety. And that just doesn't happen automatically. That happens through the work. And I know that State's Attorney Ivan Bates and the Inspector General are people who are actually doing the work. Not only are they leading the agency, but they're experts in what they do. The State's Attorney is known to try cases. He's an expert lawyer, and he's leading an expert team. And the Inspector General, I know, goes out and handles investigations herself. And so these are people who I'm proud here to stand with. I'm proud to help. The Sheriff's Office has an expertise in serving warrants, so we've been serving warrants for the Economic Crimes Unit. We're going to continue to do that. We'll continue to prioritize their work and make sure that the enforcement arm of the court, which is what the Sheriff's Office is activated to help our partnerships. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to someone who has really made a huge difference in the city of Baltimore, the Inspector General, Isabel Cumming.
Thank you very much. This particular endeavor means so much to me, because I was part of the Economic Crimes Unit in Baltimore City, and that was from 2000 to 2004. At that time, we had almost 12 people in the unit. Since that time, it was almost decimated. And it brings me so much joy to have, Sherry Green, to have Ivan Bates know the incredible importance of our vulnerable adults, and to make this, financial crimes a priority, because I remember when I did a case involving gypsies, and I seem to be very active in things. I actually went up to the roof of a row house, and I remember at the time Ms. Jessamy said, "Isabel, you'll never get a gypsy." Well, we won. Our woman who had given almost $40,000 for a fixed roof in Highlandtown, I mean, they couldn't believe that we actually were able to win and to get her money back. Well, Ivan Bates and Sherry Green will make this happen again. And I believe that every person in this facility, they deserve that type of attention, and we as need to really look out for our most valuable citizens. So I am honored and thrilled to be here, and I believe in everything that's happening. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank you, our amazing Inspector General. We, as I say, some investigations they may do and turn over to our office. We work very close together in supporting the older adult population, but also Baltimore City population. I think the message we want to make sure that everybody understands is that the business community also has support, because we are holding individuals that perpetrate economic crime accountable. One of the things people always talk about, well, how do we go about doing this? Well, you have to build the division. Having Chief Green build a division from scratch has been absolutely amazing, and she has a couple of her prosecutors that are right here. They were not in the office when we first took office 18 months ago, but they saw what we were doing, wanted to be a part of this plan, this process. They're doing the work. It takes one case after another. But right now, I would like to turn this over to a person I think, without a doubt, has built a phenomenal division of economic crimes, has done the work, the hard work with the older adult division, doing 2 jobs at once, and today, once again, received a 3-year sentence on an economic crime case of a theft of a vehicle, the type of case that often you never saw guilties in Baltimore City. I'd like to turn this over to Chief Sherry Green.
Thank you, Mr. Bates. I just want to acknowledge that Mr. Bates has, from the very beginning, even in his campaign platform, recognized the value of our older adults in our community. They are our history, but they are also our present, and they contribute tremendously. And at this stage in their life, they should not be considered an easy mark, and we're doing everything we can to make sure those who are don't walk with as much integrity understand that we will seek justice for our citizens, regardless of the age. We formed our Older Adult and Disabled Persons Unit. We call it shorthand ODPU, and we launched it September of 2023 with our inaugural senior luncheon. We had nearly 250 persons who attended. This year we've moved the location just so that we could accommodate more. We gave reservations on Eventbrite, and we had to close it out within 1 week because we were sold out with people who had heard about our event, who wanted to come, who wanted to know more. We also last year launched a helpline where people could call in if they had questions. If we could not help them because it wasn't directly a crime, but it was a concern for older adults, we helped give them resources and give them referrals. We have gotten calls from 25 to 30% of our calls come from persons age 70 and older. And so they have called with concerns in their community, concerns in their senior housing. We've collaborated with Baltimore City Police Department's community engagement units, which work with the seniors, and asked them to go out to some senior buildings where they have felt there were some safety issues. We have worked with Adult Protective Services when there have been referrals for reports of financial exploitation. We investigate those, and where we can, we try to bring justice. We work with other outside agencies to get support services for our victims, because not only do we want convictions, we want to get our victims on the start on the path of healing. Because when you are a victim of a crime, whether it is a violent crime or a financial crime, it triggers trauma. And so our philosophy is to take a trauma-informed approach to everything we do. I've thanked Mr. Bates for all the help he's given me in getting our unit restarted, regenerated. I actually worked with Inspector General Cummings back in 2004 in economic crimes, and I have been with the office for 28 years. Last week, or this week, marks my 28th anniversary. I am truly appreciate being able to serve our community in the ways we do. You may not know it, but a lot of small businesses, when they are impacted by embezzlement or employee fraud, they suffer great trauma because they go into the red. Someone who's built their business from the ground is at risk of losing everything because of one employee who did not have integrity. We take it very seriously, and we do our best to give them justice. And so today is a good day that we were able to get a sentencing and hold Mr. Dupre accountable. Today is a good day because we expect in excess of 500 older adults, age 60 or over, that are our citizens, who are going to come together, listen to a panel of speakers who are going to give them tips on how to avoid scams, what they should do to protect themselves, to caution them about how they use a power of attorney so it is not abused. So I thank you all for just giving us the time to share with you all of our good news. We're looking forward to continuing to grow our unit so that we can better accommodate all of what we need to do. In 2022, I'll just leave you with this one statistic. There was a report of fraud to the federal government that there was $3 billion lost because of fraud and scams nationwide. And that's only what's reported. As far as elder abuse, physical and financial exploitation, the statistics and data that have been able to be acquired nationally shows us that only 1 in 4, and sometimes some reports say 1 in 10, of these incidents are ever reported because it's someone the person knows. So to inform them is the best thing we can do for them. This past year, we spent quite a bit of time going out in the community doing safety talks so that they could be better informed as a way of prevention and empowerment to the community. Turn it back over to Mr. Bates.
Thank you, Chief Green. And at this time and point, I'll take any questions if there are any.
How difficult are the cases involving family members? Are there a lot of those that go unreported, or is it tough to, if they report them, is it tough to get them to actually aid in the conviction?
It varies. A lot of times it could be, there are a lot of family members. It could be like, say, a granddaughter. It could be a niece, a nephew. It may be a person who doesn't have a lot of family left. They're up in age and now they don't have a lot of family left. So the ones they do, they hold precious. And part of the problem is they don't want to believe. But then when it comes to a crisis, we usually hear about it when the dollar amounts have gone up very high, when the bank account is very low. Often we are alerted by the banks. And we go in and we talk to them and we consider our victims' concerns. They may not want their loved one incarcerated, but they do want the theft and the fraud to stop. And so thank goodness that our office has discretion in how we proceed. It doesn't mean we won't investigate, but we will take in consideration the needs and the impact on our victims, as well as we're not just looking for jail at all times, we're looking for what is best for our victim to get them in a secure place where they get assistance with their finances without having to worry that they're going to lose their money or their independence. Aging in place is a goal of most people, and it is also the state Commissioner on Aging's plan, which is to encourage Marylanders to be more equipped to age in place. One of the things we need to do is make it a safe place for them to age in place.
And that hotline will be part of a news release or something like that?
Yes, we'll give you that. Yes. Any other questions?
What are some tips for dealing for vulnerable adults who might not be here, but they're watching one of us, what are some tips that they should look for? Because I know you just said that they don't always want to believe.
They don't always want to believe. One of the things is most citizens check their bank accounts, but a lot of older adults don't use online banking. And sometimes they should check with their bank to see if there is an online bank account opened in their name. Because all it takes is somebody to get enough access to information to maybe start that. And once they do, they can start transferring funds. So the victim may be totally unaware. So one is to do some checkups with your bank, to go meet with the bank manager, go over your records, not just yourself, but check in to make sure there is nothing out there, there's not extra debit cards out there, that there is nothing out there, there hasn't been any change in addresses that they don't know about. And think really long and hard before making anyone a member of the joint account. There are other options, and if they call into our helpline, we'll talk to them about it, other than just signing someone up onto their bank account. They may need help, but there's ways to get assistance without giving away all their power.
And I'm assuming don't use social media is not the end all be all.
Well, when you're...
Things like the contractor did.
Yes, the contractor had a lot of pretty pictures up there, and had apparently had some history of doing some good work, but and we wouldn't prosecute. Let's just make this clear, just so that I don't put the fear in the hearts of all contractors. Just because there's a dispute with the client about the quality of work, that doesn't make it criminal. What makes it criminal is when you take money, walk away, and never do anything. What makes it criminal is when you do a full demo, strip it down to the studs, and walk away and leave that client with nothing but, and you've taken 2/3 of the quoted contract with you. That is well beyond the amount of initial deposit that the state regulations allow, and it is abuse. Some people were giving away $30,000 and $40,000 up front with no work ever being done, and then we're not able to get a contractor to return in many cases. So because of that, be cautious. Go online and check the certification. Make sure the license is active. They can call the Maryland Home Improvement Commission. Mr. Banks is here today, William Banks. He is one of the many investigators for Maryland Home Improvement Commission, and he was a great resource and assistance to us in reporting these incidents. And it was just so voluminous. That's why we ended up with 31 counts and 15 victims. But it is a statewide problem, and we're trying to help our constituents in the city to be protected. Yes. Oh, one other thing, and Ms. Inspector Cummings reminded me, always order your credit report. Everyone is entitled to one free credit report per year. Don't pay the fees. Don't go online, do that. Call TransUnion, call Equifax. You can call any one of the main three ones, Experian, and they will mail it to you, and you can also freeze it if you think something's going on. But go and review, even if it's every year when you pay your taxes, every year at New Year's. Pick a time of the year where you check every year, check your credit report, see that no one's applied for something you don't know about.
Thank you very much. And we'll be inside. I'm looking very forward to this.
Thank you.
For a one-on-one.
There's Jay-Z, yeah.